كوداتا تكوان سوانسن وحديبو دحكينا
دار اللي وا Somaliland dad hormaray dad meel maray dad living gaaray
dad ku dhaata inta guud ku dhaata dadka waansan wixdiibu dhaxkeena
dar alle
wa Somaliland
dowladnimadu
today deeqdo
jacaylka
looga daydo
duganabada
dadku jooga
dar alle
wa Somaliland
dowladnimadu
today deeqdo
jacaylka
looga daydo
duganabada
dadku jooga
dar alle
wa Somaliland dadankoodu yahay dunida dadal dhaafo yala daahin dadankoodu yahay dunida dadal dhaafo yala daahin
dambaynin waa Somaliland
Allah waa Somaliland dadankoodu yahay dunida dadal dhaafo yala daahin dadankoodu yahay dunida dadal dhaafo yala daahin
dambayn
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, and thank you for attending this lovely yet important event tonight. Bienvenue à tous et à toutes, et merci pour votre présence indispensable ici ce soir. For the next guest, well, I should say our next guest speaker will be Sheikh Abdullahi Abdi, who will be reciting the Quran. Please welcome and come take the stage. S'il vous plaît, un applaudissement pour Abdullahi Abdi, qui récitera quelques versets du Coran.
Alhamdulillah, salatu wa salam ala ashrafi al-anbiya wal mursalin. Marka hore, waxaan soo dhaweynaynaa wasiirkeena arrimaha dibadda Dr. Xuseen waqtiga sharafta leh. waxaan mar labaad soo dhaweynaynaa akhyaarta soo timid madashan dilan inta ka bacdi waxaan ku bilaabaynaa aayaadka quraanka kariimka insha Allah taala أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن ربك يبسط الرزق لمن يشاء ويقدر إنه بعباده خبير بصيرا ولا تقتلوا أولادكم خشية إملاق نحن نرزقهم وإياكم إن قتلهم كان خطأ كبيرا ولا تقربوا الزنا إنه كان فاحشة وساء سبيلا ولا تقتلوا النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ومن قتل مظلوما فقد جعلنا لوليه سلطانا فلا يسرف في القتل إنه كان منصورا ولا تقربوا المال اليتيم إلا بالتي هي أحسن حتى يبلغ أشده وأوفوا بالعهد إن العهد كان مسؤولا وأوفوا الكيل إذا كلتم وزنوا بالقسطاس المستقيم ذلك خير وأحسن تأويلا ولا تقف ما ليس لك به علم إن السمع والبصر والفؤاد كل أولئك كان عنه مسؤولا ولا تمش في الأرض مرحا إنك لن تخرق الأرض ولن تبلغ الجبال طولا كل ذلك كان سيئه عند ربك مكروها صدق الله العظيم.
Member of Parliament, Honorable Chandra Arya, that would like to speak a few words. Please come and take the podium.
It's my pleasure to be here. I welcome His Excellency Dr. Isa Qaid to Ottawa. Should I say back to Ottawa? He was in Ottawa. He did work as a doctor in Ottawa Hospital. Welcome back, and it's very nice to see you. I had a good conversation with him yesterday, and he did brief me on the things happening there in Somaliland. Somaliland is a piece of stability, in the region where there's a lot of instability. And one of the best things that I learned was that the peaceful transfer of power, any democracy, we all know what democracy is, but in many parts of the world, in many countries, democracy is not practiced because the mandate of the elections is many times not accepted and there's no peaceful transfer of power. But in Somaliland, I was told that the elections were held and there was a peaceful transfer of power, and Dr. Isa Qaid is the new Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Thank you so much for meeting me yesterday, and welcome to Ottawa. And I know this question of recognition is always there, and we did discuss on that. We hope this will be resolved sooner than later. Once again, thank you so much for welcoming me here. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good evening, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to have and participate and have fun with us in this nice evening that we are about. And the main reason is to welcome our new nominated Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of Somaliland that is being in tour, long tour in North America and UK. Waxaan salaamayaa after the greeting, halka waxaan salaam uga dirayaa madaxweynaheedii mudane Muuse Biixi Cabdi, madaxweyne ku-xigeenka Ibrahim Ismaaciil Sayid, waxaan halka salaam uga dirayaa ciidankeena nabadgelyada dalka ku ilaaliya. Meel kasta oo ay adduunka ka joogaan, particularly intan iminka ay hor fadhida ee reer Ottawa. Waxaan leeyahay waxaan soo dhaweynaynaa waa wasiirkeena cusub, waa Ciise Kay oo aynu wada garanayno ilaa yaraan. The world is so small. Reer Maraykan ah, reer Somaliland ah, one of our own, oo maanta wasiir ah. So waxaan arkaynaa in aynu isbeddelka inaku hayno maanta, aqoonsiga ay ku jirto inta badan aynu doondoonaynay ee aynaan wasiiro badan soo mareen. Wasiiradaa badanna inkastoo hawluhu badnaayeen oo hawlo badan qabteen, laakiin maanta aniga horta feelingayga aan isleeyahay maanta isbeddel baa inoo dhacay, because waxa weeyaan dynamicka qofka ku jira, culturekiisa, daacadnimada, hawlkarka, hadalka, fahanka, dhagaysiga au muujiyey inta yaruu muddadu hayo ayaa idin tusaysa inaan inaguna inaan wax la qabanno ay tahay. inagu keligeen wax ma qaban karno hadduu isagoo ina la qaban, isaguna waxba ma qaban karo hadduuna shacbigu waxba la qaban. dhalinyartii soo qaban qaabisay xafladda, wiil iyo gabadhba shaqo badan bay qabteen. intaas iyo inka badan inay isu keenaan bay ahayd, weatherkiina hawshu intay leeg tahay, distanceka, covidka laga baqayo, waxaas oo dhan baa ku adkeeyey wax. Laakiin hawl wanaagsan bay qabteen, iyaguna aad bay u mahadsan yihiin. intaa iyo inka badanna waa laga filayaa wax badan barta imika inta soo socotana de way garanayaan maanta hawshu waxay tahay. markaa road mapka dambe u soo socdo waxaan u malaynayaa inay si ka easysan ay u dulmari doonaan haddii ilaahay yidhaahdo. Somaliland, horta inagu we here, we are Canadian. At the same time we are Somalilanders. We have both countries, we're lucky. So we have to be a good citizens for both countries. Canada is our adopted country. There are elections. All MPs were telling me that they don't see our community. So hurting. We've been here for about 35 years or more. And then our integration is not the way that it was supposed to be. So we have to come together and elect who we want, and diselect who we want, and let our community be known by the Canadian government, the Canadian MPs, the Canadian MPPs. We have friends that come all the time to visit us, to participate in our events, to tell us the petition that we want. We want you to go to your MPs. Everybody gotta be very comfortable with their MPs in their constituency. Who elect them is you. So I want that similar integration with the government. Maybe if it's not you, our kids would be MPPs. Our kids might be replaced Justin Trudeau pretty soon. So we have to train our kids. We have to train our kids. We have to teach them the tolerance, to get with other people. Let's not be conservative. Let's be liberal. I mean, I'm not talking about the parties. I'm talking in mind-wise. Mind-wise. I'm not talking about being conservative. That's up to you guys. But in the mind, the tolerance is the best. Okay, about Somaliland. What can we do for Somaliland? We wanted to buy a house. And we can. We can. For our mission, we can buy a house. It's very easy. Marka maxaan u baahannahay? Unity. If you are Wadani, to me, you're not Wadani. You're a Somalilander. If you are Kulmiye, to me, you're not Kulmiye. You are a Somalilander. Haddaad tahay Ucid. Ucid is my friend. Waa waddankaygi, waa multi-partieskaygi. That's how we demonstrate aan tusayno adduunka dimuqraadiyadda halkaynu ka gaadhsanahay. Multi-parties inagaa dooranay. So it's not a weapon that we can fight with. It's something that we should be proud of. Maxaan kolkaa dalkeennoo qaban karnaa? Maxaan u qaban karnaa? Waxaan u qaban karnaa innaka oo isu tegna, oo xoogeenna, aqligeenna, lacagteenna, waxayna isku geyna ayaan dalkeena wax u qaban karnaa. Halkan wax ku qabsan karnaa, xaggaan wax uga qaban karnaa. Meel walba waxaynu leenahay obligations iyo rights at the same time. Marka labadaa aynu garanno, maxaa ku qasbannahay inaan samayno, maxaa lagu qasbaya in laynoo qabto. Innagu waxba ma qaban karno, aqoonsina dadka ma weydiisan karno, ma qasbi karno, laakiin maxaan ku qasbi karnaa? Inayna dhageystaan, inay dadkeena u naxaan, inay developmentkeena ka shaqeeyaan oo inaga caawiyaan. Waxay geeyaan lacagta, wixii siyaasada waxaan u dhaafayaa wasiirka, laakiin inta guud ahaan aan ka hadlaya waxa weeye dalkan aynu joogno, aynu ka muuqanno, aynu wax ka qabsanno.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. We love you so much. That's why you are here in big number to welcome you. Uganda and Canada are like brothers and sisters. We've been together in ensuring that we have a peaceful Somaliland, and we shall continue doing that. Because East or West, home is the best. Even if we are in Canada, Ambassador Lula has already said that we still belong to the great Somaliland. So we want that land to be peaceful. We want it to be peaceful for women. We want it to be peaceful for our children. We want to be peaceful for everybody, because we want to build our country. We want to develop our country. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. I bring you greetings from my Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable General J.J. Odongo, and also my President, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. My name is Jerry Echek. Thank you so much. I wish you the best. Happy Christmas. Thank you.
Waxaan halkan ka salaamayaa oo aan nasiib aynaa u yeelan caawi nala joogto Dr. Adna Aadan Ismaaciil.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's good morning for me, but staying up for Somaliland, losing sleep. I'm ready to stand up for Somaliland and lose sleep 2 or 3 nights consecutively. This is the least we can do for our country. I would like to thank Ambassador Lul Ahmed Usman, and for all of you attending this great event. I am so sorry I could not be with you. If my visa had arrived on time, this would have made my visit the 9th visit to your great country, Canada. My first visit to this great country was to Vancouver in 1993, where I was working for the World Health Organization. And since that time, I have seen how our people, the people of my country, Somaliland, have been hosted in Canada, have been sheltered in Canada. Voilà la génération de Somalilandais dont on a besoin pour apprendre et retourner aussi dans notre pays pour encourager et enseigner ceux qui vous attendent dans notre pays en Somaliland. In Somaliland, I think I'm not going to tell Somaliland those who come from there, because you all know it. But I think it is important that we all tell the world where Somaliland is. Yes, it's on the Horn of Africa, but many don't know. After 31 years of peace and stability, that Somaliland is the most senior Somali inhabited country that gained its independence before all other Somalis were independent. The world, many do not know that Somaliland was the 12th country to become independent in Africa in 1960, on the 26th of June, well before many countries who are now in the African Union, whose decision is going to impact the future of our people, Somaliland. Now, this is something that justice and human rights tell me is not fair, because those countries have not been informed that it is Somaliland, the former British Somaliland Protectorate, that is protecting the colonial borders of Africa as they were at the time of independence. That Somaliland is not changing the border that we inherited at the time of our independence, when our neighbors in Somalia, in the former republic, in the former colony of Italy, were still under Italian colonial rule. Somaliland is senior to 40 countries, 42 countries in Africa when it comes to the date of our independence, 26 June 1960. And many countries do not know that Somaliland has had a long track record of peace and stability that is for 30 years. This is something to be proud of, and it's something to protect and make sure that this peace and this stability continues. Very few people in the world know that when our neighbors, Somalia, was throwing bombs on our civilians, it was countries like Canada that gave a home to our refugees, to our women and their children, and to give them protection, and to give them the possibility to go to school and to be healthy and to grow in a country that is the image of democracy. We Somalilanders are grateful for that hospitality that you have given to our people. There's very few people in the world who have read about the true history of Somaliland, because there are others who are telling stories about Somaliland that are not correct. Today, seeking medical care in Somaliland, their refugees are coming to Somaliland. Their poor are coming to Somaliland, And we say, why not? This is what brothers are for, not for killing each other, but for giving each other help, being forgiving, moving forward, and saying, let us find a way to find common peace on both sides of our border. Having peace and stability alone in Somaliland is not enough. Somaliland wants peace also on the other side, on Somalia as well, on the former Italian colony of Somalia, La Repubblica Somala. We want peace there. We want peace in the world. We want to move forward and have a dialogue, because Somaliland has a very strong case. And we want the world to listen to the case of Somaliland and give us our day in court and give us a hearing and listen to our case, not listen only to the story that is given to the world by our opponents. When there's a case between two countries, Somaliland and Somalia, we need judges. We need those who know human rights, who respect human rights, to come and mediate and listen to our case. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm right. But we have not been heard. The world has only been listening to what Somalia has been telling the world. Telling the world that we are fragmenting Africa, that we are fragmenting Somalia. No, we are not fragmenting Somalia. We separated from Somalia. And it is Somalia that is fragmenting itself, that is fragmenting its own regions. It is Somalia that is not giving a government that runs its people. It is the government of Somalia that is the cause of the problems of the Horn of Africa. Now, we in Somaliland have had time to remove the landmines. We've had time to rebuild our country. We've had time to bring our people back from the diaspora. We have had time to set up a system of government, develop a constitution that other Somalis have even borrowed and modified. Our neighbors to our east pick up all the drafts of the constitutions and the rules and the elections that we make and just put their name on it. But why not? Let them. If this is going to teach them peace and democracy, why not? We want the world to know that for the past 30 years, our cities are peaceful. Visitors, tourists come to Somaliland. Have you ever heard of tourists going to Somalia? Well, they come to Somaliland. Somaliland today needs to remain stable, not only for Somaliland, not only for the Horn of Africa. Somaliland needs to remain safe and stable for the benefit of the world. Somaliland holds the key. Our 850 kilometers of our coast must remain pirate-free. Our 850 kilometers of coastline must remain terrorist-free. Must remain a free waterway for 1/3 of the world's maritime trade to go through from the Suez Canal, from the Mediterranean, through the Suez Canal, and through the Red Sea up to the Indian Ocean, without fear, without hindrance. That is what Somaliland is bringing to the world. Not only 30 years of stability, of peace, but also to contribute to the next 30 years. Stable, democratic, free from terrorism, from fundamentalism, from anything that could destroy the freedom of the world. The world needs to put Somaliland among the wise nations who wish to protect the world, to protect reason, to protect human rights, to protect all that will fight our common universal problems of war, of hunger, of illiteracy, of discrimination. These are the major enemies that we must fight together. And Somaliland is a strong partner in this because it has a track record of 30 years that it has been doing this on its own, without external support, with very little external support. We want to become that nation that becomes an example to many others. We are protective of that democracy that we have built, that system of government that we have established. All of you remember what happened in May during the elections, the municipal elections and the parliamentary elections. How many countries in the world would you have elections taking place when can you hear me? Yes. Yes. When you have elections and the incumbent political party has fewer seats or votes than the two opposition parties. Je ne connais pas que le Somaliland est un pays libre, démocratique, en paix, où ces gens retournent au lieu de se sauver et de quitter le pays. It's our responsibility. And I hope that all of you, great Canadians, great Somaliland Canadians, who have already sent to us great people like Dr. Isa and Kate, and who has brought his knowledge, his experience, his scientific knowledge to contribute to the health and welfare of our people. We have so many Canadians. I have Dr. Isa, Dr. Dirk Said, that great obstetrician gynecologist who works for the World Health Organization and works in Somaliland, another Canadian. And there are so many good Canadians who you should be proud of, who are coming back and giving back to the people. So please do your homework. Tell the world about Somaliland, tell the truth about Somaliland, because those who are telling different stories that are not true about Somaliland have a much louder voice than you have. And many believe, many do not know that the word Somaliland is not a word we just picked up from a hat and just said, okay, which name? It's the name that the British gave us in 1883. Kufana, wadankina kufana. Horumarka aad gaadhay kufana. Adduunka u sheega Somaliland waxay tahay the most successful country in the Horn of Africa. Ilaahay hayna la qabto, Ilaahay hayna ilaaliyo, Ilaahay horumarka aynu gaadhay nala ilaaliyo, ka aynu jiisanayna Ilaahay hayna la qabto. Thank you very much. Good night. Good morning for me. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. So I say good night. Thank you. Somaliland. Somaliland. Have a wonderful day. waan ka xumahay in aanan idinla joogin laakiin we did what we could insha Allah nooli kulanteen habeen wanaagsan.
Up next, we've got Bhagwant Sandhu, retired director for the Government of Canada.
Merci beaucoup et bonsoir. Moi, je suis ici tout simplement pour accueillir Dr. Ibrahim à Ottawa. C'est un grand plaisir de vous rencontrer, votre équipe. Et aussi vous dire que, comme vous avez sans doute constaté, que la communauté d'Ottawa s'est fortement engagée dans le développement de Somaliland, dans la politique économique, sociale, y compris non seulement les peuples de la diaspora somalilandais, mais aussi ceux qui n'ont pas d'origine somalilandaise, comme moi. Sauf que des fois, certaines fois que je suis aussi un peu, j'ai l'air somalilandais. Okay, I'm saying all this because I think the fact that a lot of us who are not necessarily from Somaliland but are interested in Somaliland are actively engaged. The credit has to go. The credit, I must say, has to go to the community here, the diaspora community, who has pulled people like us into your world, taught us, educated us about the politics, about what's going on, the dynamics in Somaliland. So in particular, I think I would like to thank Brother Rashid, Ambassador Lula, and also my sister, Mohammed, even the cameraman, Ibrahim, I know him from now. And there you go. The point is that that's what we really take, is that as more we pull out more Canadians, as Madame Edna just came to explain to us, the more we start the ball rolling on all sorts of issues, not only just the development, but as well as around recognition of Somaliland as a republic and so on and so forth. It's very happy I am to note that, you know, it's only 5 years ago, many of us did not actually even know, could not pinpoint Somaliland on the map of Africa. And now, it is not unusual, at least in my circle, to find people who are very fluent to say words like Habin Wanaksan, right? Kahad Sadid, and obviously the one I've been practicing very hard for the last week or so is Shu Dahwa Dr. Bakai. Sodu, sorry, that's in the accent. We have also in our own group of circle of friends, you will hear from as well my colleague Lawrence Greenspan, Frank Bayless. We have today we have had, which we would not have 5 years ago, members of Parliament come to an event like this. A lot of them were very afraid to, you know, say the wrong thing politically and whatnot. And today we had at the opening a sitting member of Parliament come and welcome. In fact, make a point that, you know, the recognition should happen fairly sooner. On top of that, Dr. Qaida has also met with members of the Conservative Caucus. Some Conservative members of Parliament are actually here. I think we'll meet Kyle Seaback and others. So all this to say that there's an energy going on, and I would recommend that, especially our ambassador and others, to tap into that energy. And one of the lasting things that I'll say before I step off is that a lot of us who are former public servants, I'm a retired Director General from the federal government. There are others who are developing quietly a lot of policy capacity to support Somaliland. So whether it's I've discussed a little bit around sort of frameworks on diaspora engagement, whether it's on whatever issue is that the members of Parliament need to know on what should be the Canadian position vis-a-vis the economy and so on and so forth in Somaliland. We have the mindset here, we have the brains that we can help them. And I mean here in Canada, not in Somaliland. right? So if any politicians are listening here, please feel free to call to us, and any kind of advice, any background, any research, any analysis, any political policy development, look to us. Okay? Last point, and that is that I have a message from a friend of Somaliland who actually has been a consistent friend of Somaliland. Again, before any politician or ever even stepped up, she was the first one. We had a delegation about 6 years ago. She stepped up and she said, you know, these are my cousins, this is my family. And I'm speaking of Senator Mobina Jaffer. Senator Jaffer invited the delegation in the Senate and spoke within the Senate about Somaliland and the cause of Somaliland. So I can tell you now with Dr. Kenny, she actually called us to say, I want to be here. She tried her best, right? If I share the emails, you will be stunned to the effort that someone went to this way. And she really, I mean, to the point of tears, that this is my family, these are my people. She's from Kenya, if you know originally, right? And so she sends her regards. She's very, very sorry that she could not be here because of the hybrid parliament and so forth. There's all kinds of restrictions. And she has said that I should mention that she has written a personal letter to Dr. Kai and has actually sent it to your US in Hargeisa. More of engagement, more of policy capacity. So I invite some of the young people. I know there are a lot of people here who are with the government and who are, you know, just working in university. Maybe we could set up a small think tank, right? I'd be very much interested in that. So please, you can get a hold of me through Brother Rashid, Sister Anna, and you know, let's get the ball rolling. Let's not stop at this event. This is only the beginning. Okay? Voilà, merci beaucoup.
Teach a girl and her mother to read, and you empower women to make change for a better community, a better nation, and a better world. ACRI, Mothers and Daughters Literacy Program, was started several years ago by youth, caring people living in the diaspora. ACRI believes that educated, empowered women can change the world. ACRI strives to break the cycle of illiteracy amongst rural women and girls. And by erasing the barriers in education through basic literacy, education, and job skills training, girls and women are able to reach their full potential. Since it began, ACRI has trained over 500 girls and women. The impact of these ACRI graduates multiplies each day and continues to strengthen their communities and their nation. In a land that some say conspires against human survival, the spirit of the artists of Las Gil is revived in the minds of these women, young and old. My wife and I couldn't help but notice the presence and participation of so many strong women here this evening. Yet there is, yes indeed. Yet there is still a challenging way to go forward, and we look forward to the first of many women to be elected to the Somaliland Parliament. I am aware of the genocide of civilians from the Assad clan. And as the son of a Holocaust survivor, I can only say that I have been most fortunate to have grown up with values that must be upheld and the lessons learned from human tragedy. These values and lessons must continue to be a part of the independent Somaliland. It has been written that Somaliland's so far free and peaceful existence is an accomplishment that shows how all societies live and die by the accommodations they make with reality and with themselves. As a Jew, I have some idea about the international support of diaspora people that can be counted on to grow and strengthen a faraway land and our people. I met and worked with Bagwat Sandhu at United Way, and we became good friends. I was honored when he approached me to assist in the inception of ACRE. When he recently asked me to speak with you this evening, I think there was a significant typographical error in his email. He wrote, quote, "The Somalis think you're God," close quote, when I'm sure he meant to say the Somalis think you're good. I want you to continue to think that I'm good. So I will happily welcome, and I know you will want to give a warm Ottawa welcome back to Dr. Isa Abdirahman K. Mahatsani. Thank you.
And who has written his master's on international recognition, especially in which Somaliland was one of these case studies. Please come and join us. Soyez les bienvenus.
Hello everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Can you hear me well? Perfect. Well, first of all, I would sincerely thank Ambassador Isman for inviting me tonight for this memorable event. I'm grateful to meet with the Somaliland diaspora and those like me who have been interested and curious about Somaliland. I would like to welcome Honorable Essa Muhammad Kaid, as well as his delegation to Canada. It's a pleasure to be and to meet with you all and to learn more about Somaliland. What a great opportunity for this right now it is. It's an honor for me to be here tonight. So my name is Samuel Lamoine. I'm from the French-speaking province of Quebec. As it was mentioned, I recently graduated from Charles University in Prague in the Czech Republic, and I've written my thesis on international recognition. It was my first real research work. And in Quebec, statehood and movements for political independence have been part of our history for over 6 decades now. So these topics are naturally of interest to me. I wanted to discover other areas in the world where self-determination movements exist, thrive, face challenges of international recognition. This is how I came across Somaliland. Of course, Quebec and Somaliland are vastly different. Perhaps one of the most notable differences is the fact that only a minority of citizens in Quebec support statehood, while a majority of citizens do in Somaliland. In fact, over 95% of your citizens, I believe, have expressed support for Somaliland's independence. But despite these differences, the desire to be respected as a distinct nation is a value shared by both of our societies. Over the years, I have become increasingly interested in the unique culture, political background, and people of Somaliland. I was saddened to learn about the Isaac genocide committed by the Barres regime in the 1980s, and I'm still shocked at how little this event is known in Canada. But I was happy to discover that Somaliland has prospered and, most importantly, has a history of providing high-level political rights and civil liberties for its people in a region where these principles have often been under pressure. I sincerely hope your government will do everything possible to preserve and strengthen Somaliland's democratic model. After all, democracy is your best asset for Western recognition. Somaliland has proven to be politically stable and has been functioned autonomously for over 30 years. It exceeded the expectations of many. Canada would gain a lot from developing its relations with Somaliland, whether this takes the form of political recognition or other actions. Not only do we share similar values, but Somaliland has the potential to become a strategic ally in the Horn of Africa, near the Red Sea. It can be advantageous for both of our societies to advance commercial, cultural, and security cooperation. So in a final note, I was pleased to learn that the Minister speaks French, so I will add, bienvenue au Canada, Monsieur le Ministre. I wish you success in your
Pour votre travail, votre recherche, c'est très apprécié. prochainement, up next, we have a certain sir that needs no introduction. And I say this because I think he's practically a Somalilander and a longtime friend of Somaliland, to be quite honest. Please help me welcome Mr. Francis Yale, the President of South Sudan Community Association. Louder, louder. This man is very cool.
Thank you, everyone who is around tonight. Welcome to Ottawa. I'm glad to be here with you tonight. The long journey which was written by Nelson Mandela, one road to freedom. There's nothing can free without works. As an example from South Sudan, we went through so many things that we, the South Sudan went in the Somaliland went through. But before I start my speech, I would like to mention to you that we have a guest supposed to be coming to give a speech tonight. Honorable David Kilgore is a member of Parliament who is having issues from his health. And he told me, pass my greeting to people. He's supposed to be here. David Kilgore, the member of the Parliament, has been a friend with the South Sudan, and Somaliland society. The group I'm talking to is, I'm going to call their names who are introducing to be a part of Somaliland government. Leader Rule, she's a hard worker. I met with her in God for Somaliland. Now, income on that he believes she's doing this for our country. I have another also, Said, just live right now. Said, raise up your hand. Said has been a hard worker also for Somaliland. Another also Fatima Mahmoud, in a hard worker also for Somaliland since I met them in 2017 and back. Also have Nafisa Farah, she was a very hard worker also for these groups who are left. Also we're going to have Awali, who used to take pictures and documentary. Awali Ismail. He's not here tonight. And these are the groups that I met with them. And we met with a group of people of Parliament of Canada, whom I invited them to go and talk about Somaliland. And we also introduced the bill, which is going to be working also with this. And Excellency Lula, President of Somaliland, to Canada. We are looking forward for Somaliland to be recognized. It is one going to be signing of petitions. And those friends of Somaliland, member of Parliament, they are agreeing that they are looking for 25 people to sign, then they can be able to introduce the bill of Somaliland for independence. So, Her Excellency Ambassador Lula, she's here, I communicate with her, and she's very welcome to bring that in the population of Somaliland. independence of Somaliland is the same as Africa, especially we in Eastern Africa. From East Africa, we are quite concerned about the safety of the people of Somaliland. We are brothers and sisters, no matter what we divide paths, and still brothers. That's why I'm here tonight with you and to support you. And I think I create already a friend within Somaliland. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Okay, up next, we are going to be viewing a short video of Mr. Frank Baylis, CEO of Baylis Medicals.
It was roughly 6 years ago that I was asked by Madame Anab Mohammed to join the efforts of the local Ottawa community to help establish an education program for women and girls in Somaliland. I was a member of Parliament at the time, and I can tell you that it was a great pleasure for me to support such a wonderful initiative that helps the people of Somaliland and builds on the friendship between our two nations. I'm proud to say that since then, my company, Baylis Medical, has been an ongoing sponsor of ACRI Mothers and Daughters Literacy Project in Somaliland. The work of the ACRI Mothers and Daughters Project is simply phenomenal, with upwards of 500 young girls having now acquired basic literacy skills. Congratulations on this wonderful achievement. But now is not the time to rest. We know there's much more that we can do. The Horn of Africa is experiencing serious challenges these days, with some countries facing government instability and even the threat of war. In the middle of all this, we have Somaliland, an established, Western-style, pluralistic, and participatory democracy. I congratulate its political leaders for this. Somaliland has shown us that it is indeed possible to put aside religious, ethnic, and tribal differences to put our nation first. This is very close to me as a former parliamentarian and as a business entrepreneur. It's a lesson we must always remind ourselves to be on guard against division and intolerance. A people united can create a wonderful country together for all of its citizens. I thank Rashid, Anab, and all the organizers of tonight's event for this opportunity to welcome our guests to Canada. I look forward to meeting you all in person when the next opportunity arises. In closing, I wish you a wonderful evening. Habib, Wanegsan to everyone, and to our visiting guests, Dr. Kai, Madame Adnad, and the rest of the team.
Good evening to you all. I stand here tonight to welcome the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Somaliland, my friend, Dr. Isa. Dr. Isa is not new to us. He needs no introduction. Perhaps those of you who are as old as me remember when he was 25 years ago the head and the chairman of the Somaliland community here in Ottawa. Now our son is coming back, our Canadian son, that we are very proud of, as a big man, as the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Somaliland. Please welcome him. I came just recently from Somaliland. I was based there for about 3 to 4 years. I've got good news for you. Somalilander Canadians are the biggest contributors to the development of Somaliland. Ever heard of Telephone? The biggest telephone company in Somaliland, which has wired everybody in Somaliland. And it's also the one that established the mobile banking system. It's created by a Somalilander, Canadian, Abdikarim Mohamedi. His Excellency the Minister has constructed the best neurological hospital in Hargeisa. It's the best in the whole of Africa. Perhaps you don't know, but we make brain surgery in Hargeisa, Minnesota. The biggest hotel in all over Somaliland, Grand Hadi, is owned by Abdullahi Gahair, a fellow from Ottawa, Somaliland. Mohammed Murdoch, who is a Canadian Somalilander, has got the biggest water bottling company in Somaliland. He exports to Ethiopia. Have you ever heard about the border mills? Yes. Two young engineers from Ottawa, Abdurrahman Sheikh Ahmed and Mustafa Ibrahim Fahey. They process the flour, the wheat, and make it into a flour. They import it from Ukraine and Canada, the wheat. Now they're making their own farms, but the flour they send all the way to Ethiopia and Uganda and Kenya. The biggest university in Somaliland, Golis University, that has got a branch in every part of Somaliland, is established by Saeed Ahmed Hassan, who's a fellow Canadian in Somaliland. Even my sister, Zamal, is there. Yeah. They made a primary, secondary school in the countryside in the rural area. They named it the school after my father. It's called the Sheikh Hassan Primary School. All the best ideas come from Canada. And if you go to Somaliland, any rock you turn, you see Canada under. Canada is the biggest player in Somaliland, and I am very proud Somalilander Canadian, and I'm congratulating our community. Sometimes I say, Somaliland, as far as Somaliland is concerned, as the picture we see now, Somaliland is made in Canada.
Our Excellency, the man of the hour, our Minister, Dr. Issa Kay, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Somaliland, Dr. Issa Kay, Ministre des Affaires étrangères de la République de la Somaliland. Bravo, bravo, let's get loud!
Tonight, I cannot tell you how I'm excited to be one of you tonight. I'm going to start with Excellency Lula, member of the government here, present tonight, member of the Canadian government here tonight, and those I have had the opportunity to meet during my visit. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Somali Canadian community who organized this event. A great event was done in a very short time. It's with great honor and pleasure to be with you tonight. I would like to share the many great things happening in Somaliland and the Horn of Africa tonight with you guys. It is gratifying to note that we have thousands of Somaliland Canadians living and working here who remain in touch with the roots and play an important role in contributing to the economic, social and political development. The Somaliland community, the Somaliland Canadian community continues to play a vital role in the reconstruction, peace building, and democratization process of Somaliland. For those of you who are not really aware or do not have the chance to read about Somaliland, I would like to make a brief overview of the reasons that Somaliland people opted to dismantle and revoke a voluntary merger with the previous Somalia. I want to underscore here that the voluntary merger between Somalia and Somaliland in 1960 was behind the great idea of the Great Somali of the Horn of Africa, amongst them Republic of Djibouti, the former French colony, Côte Française de Somalie, le territoire des affaires des Issa, bleu. Region 5 of Ethiopia, currently back then called the Ogaden region, NFD, which is the northeastern part of Kenya. The idea came from that. So Somaliland joined Somalia because it wanted to make the Great Somali populated area, and to join them. Not a long time after we joined Somalia, when our brothers and sisters saw that marriage didn't work, each one of them stayed apart and kept his country. And it's very sad, indeed, that our dream failed, and this resulted in some negative consequences and massive destruction. Therefore, our withdrawal from this failed union with Somalia does not constitute secession, so we did not come in and go in. Remember that, come in and go in. We're to stagnate, we're to stagnate. We joined, and then we claimed back our country. So those of you who are not clear about that, remember, we did not break away from Somalia. We were an independent country before Somalia, voluntarily joined Somalia, and then after the very bad and negative memories about Somalia, we claimed back Somaliland, one country, united, democratic, a country who refused piracy, a country who refused extreme fundamentalist terrorists. And you know how? Because we paid 30% of our budget in securing our borders. 30%. So it's not at a cheap cost, it's a very expensive cost. Remember, there's so many other African countries who joined at one point. When they find out that they cannot continue, then they just separate and divorce each other, like Senegal and Mali. So many other African countries went back to the status quo when they couldn't continue living with their newly found companion. So we're one of them. And we're even better than them. Because today, Somaliland is in a geopolitical area where the world wants to be an envy. You saw, not a long time ago, they were playing Bernard Port. It is not just a port like anywhere. We spend $440 million. DP World spent $440 million to build that. Millions. Yeah. $440 million. I didn't say pesos. $440 million to build that. UK spent $320 million. And you wonder why? Because it's a geopolitical hub. If we keep that place safe, away from Al-Qaeda and Al-Shabaab and Somalia, well, the wall will come through there. 1/3 of the waterways of the vessels that's going through that area actually go through the Babel-Mandeb area and then through the Red Sea and Indian Ocean. So the world sees that, and the world knows better than we do. The world has spotted Somaliland as being the international hub of the future, ladies and gentlemen. نحن كنا الله ميال عجائبة وآدي العجائبة إبراهيم المبارك. أنت عمرك انكتبوا. I want to tell to the international community that you are pouring billions of dollars in a failed state. 2% of what you send to Somalia, this failed fragmented state, only makes it reach Somaliland. And guess what? Where that money goes? As soon as you pay billions and billions of dollars to that failed state called Somalia, it goes back to the hand of Al-Shabaab, and they come and kill each other, and they make money with that. They become rich because of the international community donation. 2 months ago, I led a delegation to Kenya, Nairobi, and we said it's not going to work. We need a new arrangement. The old system is not working, and then we started with the European Union to create a new framework that will allow Somaliland to have what's due and Somalia to get whatever they are supposed to have. In this trip I was in America, but I explained exactly that we are a democratic country, we had elections. We had parliamentary and local council elections. It was fair, free and fair. It was done using biometrics, the iris. And then at the end of the day, it was business as usual. At the end of the vote, the election, it was business as usual. There was no war, there was nothing at all. And that gave Somaliland a huge credit among the international community. Ladies and gentlemen, if when I came to UK and when I was in the States, meeting the Somaliland community, I've noticed that you have forgotten after the independence, when we freed the country. I remember before the independence, everybody was paying his dues to contribute to liberate the country. But after that, we all forget. We've forgotten everything. I remember in 1990, I don't know if you see Niab, and when I was the head of the Somaliland Community Association in EP. We're doing much better than what's happening today here, what's happening in Toronto, or what's happening in the UK. Today, ladies and gentlemen, they have done what they had to do. They died by hundreds and thousands. We're not doing what we're supposed to do. We forget about that. We divide ourselves into tribes, political parties. That's irrelevant. The world does not know which tribe you belong to, does not care about that. The world does not know which political party you belong to, does not care about that. The world cares about you. As people who can vote an MP, as people who can participate in the democratic election of Canada, it's you who are missing Manta Idika Ilawi. And let me speak in Somali, please, now, if I may. waxaad ilowday maanta in aad dagaalka qaybtiina qaataan. Aqoonsiga Somaliland ma yaalo Hargeysa ee rumaysta. Aqoonsiga Somaliland idinka jeebkiina ku jira. Parliaments in Canada here today, they were baffled. Nobody knew about Somaliland, and yet we were voting every day. Maalin walba cod baad siinaysa nin kale oon u baahnayn. layaab weeyaan marka intaasoo kuna qofatiin in codkiina aad kari weydaan inaad tiraahdaan waxaanu nahay dadkaas Somaliland ka yimid haddii member of parliament haddaad tahay aanad Somaliland ajandaheeda aanad hore u wadahayn codka ku siin maayo haddii aad hore u wadan codka lagu siinayo markaas ninka member of parliament oo ka kooban dowladda wuxuu sameynaya hore u wadaya ajandaha Somaliland intaa ka hor waxbay noo suurtagelinayso waxaan idinku balan qaadayaa imanka noqdo inaan intaal badan saari doono si aan dib u abaabulo communityga Somaliland ee Ottawa waxaan doonayaa inaad noqotaan dad tirsan oo la tirsado dad la og yahayna dalka ku nooshiya waa inaad urursataan ood samaystaan community centers waa in aad samaystaan mission لولا بلودي وأنا بجيب كل شيء إنسان أقول سيرسونال لأنه كريه كم شيء وحنا شيء هو مركز نقابة هي الدنيا كنا نريد سونال نتعمل free enterprise safe نقابة لبشن كرو سأينو بهالله job creation أو إنه هو اللي أنا نقابة مامين أو أنا نقابة in a consultancy. We're still busy. Although we're going for them, but it's still busy. We're open for business. And guess what? Maka, millions and millions and millions of dollars in that kind of shalan. Automatically, no one will see when he's old also. Et c'est comme ça que nous allons arriver à faire un pays.
Français.
Oui, bien sûr, un petit peu en français, n'est-ce pas? Si vous me permettez un petit peu, je me rappelle d'un grand monsieur qui avait dit lorsque son ennemi se détruit, il ne faut pas intervenir. C'était Napoléon. Aujourd'hui, nous voyons que la Somalie se détruit, s'auto-détruit. Nous n'allons pas intervenir. We don't want to intervene the war in Somalia. We have nothing to do. We're able to clear extremists. We're able to clear everybody who's hostile to democracy, to women's rights, to advance our economic and our freedom. So we're going to go forward. Somaliland will continue, and please remember the duty of looking for la reconnaissance de la Somaliland est dans les poches. Ce n'est pas dans les poches du gouvernement somalien, ce n'est pas dans ma poche, somalilandaise dans ma poche. Et ensemble, nous pourrions faire quelque chose. Ensemble, nous devons aller ici, pas loin d'ici, au Parlement, et dire qu'ensemble, nous voulons que le Canada reconnaisse la Somaliland. C'est comme ça que nous allons. Il doit faire la même chose aux États-Unis, il doit faire la même chose au Toronto, il doit faire la même chose partout dans le monde qui est somalandais. Vive la Somaliland, vive le Canada, et merci beaucoup.